friends, welcome to the Living Outrageously podcast. This is the show where we teach you how to stop living a boring life and start living outrageously. My name's Dave Thompson, that is Matt the freaking man Kelly, and this is the show for passionate, creative, and intelligent people who want to step up, do something great, and change the world. Matt the freaking Kelly, impossible is an opinion.
It is indeed.
Indeed it is. Dude, I love your jersey.
Bro, I'm repping Phoenix today. Repping Phoenix. You don't often see ice hockey jerseys in Australia. So I was like, you know what? It's the LOP. We're doing well in Canada right now. They love hockey. Let's just rep hockey.
Let's just keep rolling with it.
Dude, why not? How you doing?
Good, dude. I'm very well. And I'm excited today. You can tell that my energy's up. I'm excited today because the topic is, I just love it, right? We're going to get down to the meat and potatoes in a second after some shout outs, but I just got to share the topic. We're going to help people sort their shit out. We're solving problems today, Matt Kelly.
Problem solvers.
We're problem solving. Whatever's going down for you, whatever problem you're facing, we're going to solve that today. That's exciting, Matt Kelly.
That is very exciting.
Stay tuned, viewers.
Dude, we've all got problems. This is great. This is
Don't
awesome.
we?
This is going to be awesome. I love it.
Don't we all have problems? And what we're going to go through is the thinking methodology behind how I solve problems, how you solve problems, and our viewers are going to be able to take away their own thinking for how to solve their problems and live an outrageous life. Matt Kelly, I can't wait for that. But, dude, we got some shout-outs to do.
Dude, can I give some shout-outs? I want to give some shout-outs.
Go for it, man.
So I've got to give a shout-out to a few of the members in the lounge, first of all, who are crushing it, creating some great content. People, if you don't know what the lounge is, you got to check out the Patreon, which we'll get to in 1 second. However, before we get there, Dave, let's just do some iTunes shout-outs.
Oh, please.
So
please.
right now...
Can I start?
Okay, you start first.
No, actually, you start.
All right, I'll start. Well, I will remain in Australia for a moment, and I will give some shout-outs from the Australian iTunes store, and then you can travel over the Pacific, and you can provide some for our North American friends.
Fantastic.
So 2 reviews here. One is from Guess Who 777. These guys get it. High energy, excitement, great insight, and keep me totally motivated. So glad they're back for a new season. Boom! Thank you, Guess Who.
Yes.
And the other one is Big D 950. Inspirational, insightful, and full of energy. This podcast is one of the best out there. Heaps of energy, love the mix of lifestyle and business and online. Get involved and get on board their community on FB too. I don't know who wrote that, but it's someone in our community, so that's cool as well.
I love it, Matt Kelly, and both of them 5 stars. But you know what? There's even 5 stars over in the US of A iTunes store where we are still being featured. So kudos to Apple. And man, we're blowing up everywhere. We're still featured in Australia. We're still in Canada. We're still in the US. So this season 4, people, it's really going pop.
Did I tell you, before you say anything, so I actually got a phone call today from a friend of mine, right, literally a friend of mine who did not know about the podcast, who rang me and said to me, dude, I just saw you on iTunes. And I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean you saw me on iTunes? What are you doing on iTunes? And he was like, oh, I'm just checking out some podcasts. And there our face was on the homepage. So, dude, thank you, Apple.
Dude, can I tell you a cool story?
Go.
Similar to that, that's personal. There's a little segue, but I'm sure the viewers will appreciate it.
Go on.
So I think it was about 18 months ago. And you know how I've got an association with Record Setter. Well, you do as well. Viewers of the show will remember how we went and set world records. So I've got the yellow jacket for Australia, so I can officiate records in Australia. So Record Setter sends me to Sydney, Darling Harbour, for the world's longest catwalk.
Right, I remember this, yes.
Okay, so Darling Harbour they're doing 2.8 kilometres of catwalk.
Right.
To prove that, some shoe brand, right?
Right, so it was all about the comfort of the shoes.
Comfort of the shoes to prove how long the record was. Anyway, on the way back, the guy who was security for the event comes up to me and says, are you Dave Thompson? I'm like, yes, I am. He's like, my son watches the Living Outrageously podcast.
No, that's awesome.
So that was really cool. There I am, just walking around Sydney, Darling Harbour, and security guard comes up to me and says, I've seen your show. So There you go,
That's
Matt
quite
Kelly.
good. That's quite, oh, dude. It's only happened to me a couple of times. I had it once happen in America as well. And like if you ever see us, please do that, because that, like, look, dude, we're talking about a story that happened like 18 months ago. That's how epic this is. So make sure you come say hi. Dave, tell me about the reviews in the US of A right now.
Great. I love this, Matt Kelly. So the first one says epic, 5 stars by Love111 It. Mm-hmm. Thanks for featuring this podcast. I'm so glad I found it. Interesting, high energy, and motivating. These guys are great. Keep it up. Rock on. And then the review of all reviews, Matt Kelly.
Whoa, big call.
By none other than Spider Pig.
Of course it is.
I love the name Spider Pig. That is so outrageous.
So what does Spider Pig have to say?
Spider Pig says, I'm just losing my voice because it's so awesome. Spider Pig says, beyond your normal podcasting experience, a hoot with value to boot for those looking to change it up, whatever it may be. Awesome! Triple exclamation. Thank you, Spider Pig.
Dude, Spider Pig, you're a blessing to the world. Thank you. That is too kind. And Dave, before we give any more shout outs just yet, I need to give a shout out to the members of the Patreon.
Yes.
Now, Patreon is this unique platform. We talked about it at length last week, where it enables you as viewers and fans of the show to support us and make sure that we keep creating this sort of content. So, Dave, look, you've got the names right in front of you there, but there's been some killer people who've just been on there and they're like, yes, we like the LOP, we support it, we want more. And like, to those people, we salute you.
Indeed, Matt Kelly, and I want to shout them out by name because they are true legends supporting this message of living outrageously to go right around the world. They're the ones at the very pioneer stage helping us do that. I want to give a shout out to we've got Beck Ray from Geelong in Melbourne, in Australia. We've got Josh Newton in South Carolina. We got John in Ontario, Canada. We got Pryor's in Utah.
Southern Utah.
Prize in Utah. We got Liana in Brisbane, Australia, and Wes Wimbury. Where's he at?
Wes, he's US of A. I don't know where in the US Wes is.
I think he's in all the places. He's kind of a bit like that, isn't he? He's like everywhere.
I love Wes. Wes is such a good guy.
He's a great bloke. I
had a great hangout with him not long ago.
Indeed.
Yeah, legend.
Matt Kelly, just loving the engagement here.
Dude,
with our community.
The LOP doesn't exist without the people. We talked about you cannot create a movement on your own. And this movement, and we have to move onto the meat and potatoes here, dude, because this is so powerful. Like, the movement is all around living an outrageous life. And I'm doing it, you're doing it, and there's people everywhere doing it. But guess what? Doesn't it feel like you're part of a family when you, like, know there's other people doing it and you're talking about doing it? It's amazing.
I love it, man. I love it because so many times out there in the world, you can go out and say and go, you know what? This is my outrageous dream. This is what I want to do. I want to go to the moon, man.
Right.
And people will just look at you and be like, huh?
Yeah.
Get back and flip burgers, man. Who do you think you are, right?
Surely there's paper to be shuffled. Dave, go shuffle paper.
Yeah, totally, man. Right. Totally. But here at the Living Outrageously podcast and in our community, the lounge, those type of ideas, we actually look at them and go, wow, that freaking rocks.
And have you scheduled it in the diary yet?
Yeah, is it in the diary?
Yeah.
Because if it's not, open up the diary and write the pen and do it now.
Yeah.
Right? I love that. And you know what? I've just on that point, Matt Kelly, the people that have actually joined our community, they've written us notes and we've had comments. And I remember one note coming into me. It said, you know what, Dave? The major benefit to my life of being in the lounge has been that I felt like I was like a weirdo.
Right.
Before I joined the lounge. And then when I got into the lounge, I realized that I'm actually just completely normal. And there's people like me all around the world.
Yeah. Isn't that sad that people who choose to live outrageously and have amazing lives feel weird? You know what? Feel weird. We should all feel weird together because that's the way this is going to go down. But Dave, here's a thought for you. You ready?
Yes, hit me.
Even the people who live the most outrageous lives, the most amazing lives, they have problems.
They do, man.
They've got problems, bro.
They do. And I think this is a misconception because I think people sometimes think, oh, if only I had $10 million, then I could go and sit on the beach in Mexico and my life would be worry-free.
Can I tell you something there, Dave? I can tell you firsthand that your life would not be worry-free. You would have multiple problems to deal with in that scenario. The first is, and I know someone who had close to $1 billion who told me this story. He said, sitting on the beach gets old.
It does.
It's boring real fast. That's a problem.
It does, Matt Kelly, because sooner or later you're going to get sick of the sunburn. You're going to be getting sick of sand in your pants.
Yeah.
And you can only drink so many mojitos.
That's true.
And then the soul of a person starts to yearn for growth.
Totally.
And to live, when I say growth, what I'm really talking about is to live outrageously.
Absolutely.
Okay? So your problems are never going to go away. I think that's the first point we want to make here. Right? Your problems are never going to go away. You're always going to have problems. But I think the distinction is in the type of problems that we have.
I love that you say that. I love that you say that because, Dave, there's a good kind of problem and a bad kind of problem. There's the great problems that you want, and there's the destructive problems that have to be killed.
That's right. I like to use the language. There's the exactly that point, Matt Kelly. There's safe problems that distract you from your mission of living outrageously.
Yeah.
And then on the other hand, there are high quality problems that are part of your journey to live outrageously.
Right.
Right? Let's give an example. High quality problem. You wake up in the morning, you open your email, and there's an email from Facebook and an email from Google, and both want you to speak with them on the 25th of this month.
Yeah, that's a great problem to have. That's a very, very good problem.
That is a fantastic problem to have.
Yeah.
You receive a call before lunch and then you receive another call after lunch. One is a business wanting to pay you $10,000 a month for your consultancy services. The other is a business that wants to pay you $14,000 per month for your consultancy services.
Right.
Which one do you take? How do you fit it in?
Dude, again, great problem to have.
Great problem. Right?
Dude, what about this? What about this? Like, I'm sitting at my desk and I get like 7 phone calls from 7 new businesses that want to work with us. Do you know what that means for me? In my head, I'm like, holy crap. Do you know how many like I've got to start drafting all of this material. I'm going to go and pitch for the business and all this stuff. Dude, amazing problem. Still a problem. I have to take action on it, but great problem to have.
And I think it's the moment you know you're living outrageously is when these high quality problems start to appear in your life.
Yeah.
When you could go out with some awesome friends on a Friday night or a different group of awesome friends on a Friday night.
Right.
That's when you know you're living outrageously.
I agree.
Okay? Let's contrast that with safe problems.
Ooh, yeah.
Because the sloth, for people who've been around in seasons 1 to 3, they know the sloth is like that lazy character within us all who we really got to be aware of the sloth because he can hamper our dreams of living outrageously.
Totally.
A safe problem is a problem of the sloth. It distracts us from our mission. So we were talking about this before the episode, Matt Kelly.
Yeah.
You know, you're there in Brisbane, Australia, setting up the nation's leading social media agency, right?
Right.
And I invented a safe problem that potentially you could have, right?
Right.
And the safe problem was, okay, you've got a spa on level 7 of your apartment unit building.
Right.
And that spa, that jacuzzi, right, has too much chlorine in it.
Right. Now, I could choose to focus on the chlorine. I could be ringing the building manager every day and trying to wander around the building trying to find him to get him to fix the chlorine. Or I could go, you know what? I'm not going to let the spa control my life. Because as important as the spa is to me, I've got bigger shit to deal with.
And that's what we're talking about. A safe problem is a distracting problem.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, even things like our moods, you know, someone goes, oh, I'm in a bad mood today. I can't do my work.
Right.
Well, if you're a samurai, you know that you control your state and that you manage your state. So what you're saying is you're doing that bad mood. What I hear as a coach, I've coached hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of clients now. What I'm hearing is you're distracting yourself from your mission of living outrageously.
Right.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You know, some people hold on to their problems forever and ever and ever and ever.
Yeah.
You know, I was having a conversation with someone the other day. It was a bunch of women, right? And they were organising a catch up among all of their friends, right? It was like a breakfast.
Yes.
And what happened was one of them was like, "Oh, I can't come to this breakfast because my kids are always sick."
Whoa, she was planning on her kids getting sick?
Yeah, she was like, "My kids will be sick when that breakfast date comes around."
Wow.
So that's what I'm saying is about a safe problem. And a safe problem comes from a place of fear, from a place of, "Oh, Susie's just walked in. How about that, Matt Kelly?"
Do you know what? I've got
That's
one
a quality problem, right? The lovely Susan Santoro walks in, right? You got to come over here now. Right, we're right in the middle of the podcast. You just go say hello, Susie. Say hello to Matt Kelly.
Hello,
Hi, Matt Kelly.
How's it? Oh, she can't hear me, can she? Hi.
Hi. I can't really hear you but we're gonna do sign language.
Cool,
I just walked in and I was like, oh, Dave's doing a podcast.
Cool. And dude, Samurai meet Susie. There you go.
Yeah, Susie. Yeah, Susie meets Samurai.
Yeah.
High quality problem. Okay, high quality problem. So the question I want to ask Samurai out there is, what are you dealing in? Are you dealing in safe problems or are you dealing in high quality problems?
Right.
You know, Matt Kelly, I'm really digging this discussion. I love it because we've got a lot of energy around this, and I want to get your perspective. And let's start to talk about business, right? So when you're growing your business, when you're starting a business, when you're doing your thing, creating your outrageous kingdom, shall we say?
Right. I love it.
When you're creating your kingdom, and you face a problem, it's kind of like a turning point.
Right. Because guess what? The problem could be, and I love this. I love where you're going with this because the way I see this is right. So the problem could be Google and Facebook call me on the same day, and I've got to make a decision. Right. That's a type of problem. But the problem could be, oh, Dave, like, my customers suck. You don't understand. Like, they never want my products. They never, like, they don't buy it anymore. Or, they just don't, like, they don't understand how good it is. Or, no, like, my customers suck. They're not willing to pay money for it. They don't understand. They don't value it, right? And that's where the turning point must come in, right? That's one of those safe problems where it's like, if you don't step in there and take it away from your customers, put the responsibility on you, right? And go, wait, I'm adding value and they don't want it. I've got to work this shit out. Like, that's that is a substantial problem that I can't blame them. I got to sort that. That's a turning point required.
I love that, Matt Kelly. It's kind of like everything that I noticed there is when you've got that safe problem, it's you.
Yeah.
It's not me. Oh no.
Yeah.
It's you.
Yeah. And guess what? In that situation, I would argue, I was going to say never. I'll refrain. I'll say it is almost never someone else's problem.
I love that.
Almost never. It is almost always your responsibility. Almost always.
I love that.
I actually don't know when it wouldn't be your responsibility, to be honest, but I don't want to throw out a gross generalization, so there you go.
Well, you know what, Matt Kelly? I'll take that a step further. It's always you.
There you go. Boom, I love it.
It's always you. Now, do I know that for a fact? I don't. But if I believe that,
there you go.
If I have the belief that it's always me, that puts me in a place of power.
So you have full control over the problem and you're able to go in there and solve it directly.
That's my belief. Is it true? I don't know.
Yeah.
But does it work for me? Yes.
There you go.
Because isn't it true, Matt Kelly, that in this whole outrageous life, we're just making shit up anyway?
Dude, that's... Anyone who says they're not are lying because they are.
Whether you make up... Whether you... Like, we're making up this podcast literally as we speak.
We are.
Okay? You're making your life and creating your life every single second. Mm-hmm. So it's a case of how do you want to create that?
Yeah.
Do you want to deal in the safe problems or do you want to deal in high quality problems?
And what I like there, Dave, is you actually can make, like, drawing a line in the sand and saying, do I want to follow others or do I want to like carve out my own pathway, right? Because I could do what other people do, right? I could have the same complaints as them. I can sit there in the room and bicker in the same way that everyone else bickers, right? And pretend like it's a problem with everyone else. Or I can take full responsibility, put it on me, and carve my own pathway. And dude, like, if you're a follower, then you're not samurai, then you're not living an outrageous life, then you are literally doing what everyone else does. And I don't think, at this point in the podcast, what are we, 19 minutes in? I don't think that's anyone watching now. I think they know they're samurai, and therefore, they know they've got to take responsibility for their shit.
I love it. quote of the millennium. Take responsibility for your shit.
I love it. Yeah.
Well, we did say at the start of the episode, that's what we're going to talk about, is how to solve your problems.
Yeah.
And sort your shit out.
Yeah.
I love that, Matt Kelly. I love that.
So can I just go on a tiny tangent here? It's still relevant,
Please.
So I want to give some advice. Right? Here's what I'm thinking: the high quality problems, right? They're problems that you can solve easily, generally, right? Google, Facebook, dude, pick one. Right?
Who's going to pay you the most? Who's going to get you the most? What's going to shoot you forward on your outrageous mission the most?
Totally. Right. It's going to be like one or the other. Both are probably good solutions. Work with the information you've got, make a call. But don't sit on it for 3 weeks, because you'll be thinking about it, make the call, right? So that's my point on high quality problems in the case of a business, right? On the safe problems, it's like, if you know it's a problem and you know it's hindering you right now, make a decision. The decision could be to no longer think about the problem. The decision could be to solve the problem. The situation could be to deal with the problem, whatever that might mean, but it's take action today. So if the spa is bad, I'm going to make a decision. Okay, the spa is always bad. Like, the building manager is never going to fix it to my satisfaction, right? All right, I just can't deal with that. I'm going to make a decision to not deal with it anymore. I'm not going to fix it. Go on.
I love that, Matt Kelly. I love that. Because what you're saying there is give up your safe problems.
There you go.
The safe problems that you store in your knapsack, that you carry next to you, on your back, with you at all times, that slow you down from achieving your mission of living outrageously, give them up.
Dude.
What a concept.
And here's the thing. Giving them up, it could be solving it, or it could be just making a decision that it doesn't have to be dealt with. So I just won't.
I love that. I remember a conversation I had with a business owner in Southport in Queensland, and he was starting up a business. Get this, Matt Kelly. This was outrageous. His business was in hiring out fire trucks for hens parties.
Oh, this is the hire engine. Hell yeah.
The hire engine. Imagine big red fire truck, women renting it out for hens nights.
Right.
I was chatting with him, and he was stuck on the logo, right? His problem was, which logo do I go with?
Yeah.
Right? Because none were to his satisfaction. He had like 12 in front of him, all from Elance. I'm like, dude, give up the problem.
Yeah.
What if that problem wasn't... What if you didn't have to decide on that?
Yeah.
I'm like, can you launch without a logo? He's like, yeah. I'm like, give up the problem.
Or in that situation, Dave, the give up the problem could be solve the problem, right? So it's like, in that situation, you could go, and this is like...
Yeah.
Just throwing it out there, it could be like... Which ones don't you like? I don't like that because of that. I don't like that because of that. I don't like that. Okay, sweet. You just wiped out half of them. You just reduced your problem by 50%, right? Like, if it's something small that you don't think is going to change your world, then just make a call. Because you don't want that to be the reason why you're not executing, why it's not going live, why you're not actually adding value to all the hens parties of the Gold Coast.
And I tell you what, Matt Kelly, later that night, we got to ride in his engine all the way down the Gold Coast.
Right.
And it was spectacular, man.
That's awesome.
There was like Jay-Z, man, the stereo on that bad boy was epic.
Yeah.
Epic. Like, you want to cause a scene? Hire a fire truck.
Dude, it's the next thing for like stretched limousines. Like why get a limo?
Man, I've got to say, that was one of the best nights of my life, right? I got the call. Wow. I got the call at 6 o'clock.
Right.
Oi, Dave, can you get to this address in 15 minutes? We're going for a ride down the coast in a fire truck, and then we're going to have steak.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, yeah, we can. I'll be there.
I will cancel the plans. Yeah, high quality problem to have. I've got to be there in 15 minutes. Yeah, yes. Okay. I'll make the call and I'll be there.
Awesome. Matt Kelly, I want to just very briefly touch on something as well. You know, when we say give up safe problems, you know, I work with a lot of clients that come to me and they've experienced like depression or anxiety or procrastination or frustration or anger, some of these so-called like negative emotions. Yeah. And they kind of say to me, you know what? I'm feeling this all the time and that's why I can't live my outrageous life. Okay? Yeah. Now, sometimes I appreciate that in our lives we go through traumatic events. There is trauma. Sometimes some really horrible stuff happens to some really good people.
Right, totally.
Okay. And you know, there's some stats that show that, you know, 1 in 5 people in Australia, I've seen these stats, have suffered some type of abuse at some point or another.
Wow.
Now, what I'm saying is, we're not saying just get over the past and just, you know, come on, what are you doing? Just like move forward, right? Because you got to recognize that some people have had trauma.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, you can move through those events and not let them define how you are as a person now.
Right, right.
Because otherwise, you're bringing the past into now. And that's stopping you from living an outrageous future.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just before we move on, I want to give a quick shout out, Matt Kelly, and a quick offer to any listeners on the podcast here. If anyone's experienced some trauma that they feel is holding them back from living their outrageous life, and they know that it's time for them to move through that. It's time to leave that in the past and move through into their outrageous future. I'd like to connect with you. I'd like to connect with you because I'm a trained life coach, Matt Kelly. I've got a whole series of techniques, and in a very short period of time, I can help people to work through whatever they've been through so they can live their outrageous future. So if that's you and you want to get in touch, just send me an email, dave@livingoutrageously.com. And 100% confidential. Everything is private, and I will do my very best to serve you and help you move through whatever it is you've experienced so you can experience your outrageous life.
Dude, I love it. That's a great offer. And you know what? Like, there'll be a part of the audience that doesn't impact, but for the people that it does, that's very, very important that they identify and then move through. So, yeah, I appreciate that offer. Absolutely.
Indeed, Matt Kelly. And you know what? Just on a personal note, that's part of the reason why I went so deep in my training is because, you know, when you go to live your outrageous life, you do meet these people that have had really, like, horrible things happen to them. And I'm like, you know what? I want to help them be able to move through that so that they can experience the outrageousness that they want.
Right.
And I think that's what it's all about.
Yeah, it totally is. Like, I think with all of this, the value that you get when you are able to move through those is that you said something a minute ago which just totally resonated, which was that they don't let it define them, right? Like, it doesn't define me. And dude, this reminds me of an episode 2 years ago that we did when it was like when you walk into a room and someone says, "Oh, hi Dave, what do you do?" Right? It's like, what defines you, right? If you're still thinking about a traumatic situation from potentially a very long time ago, and that's what's defining you, it's limiting every interaction that you have with people, and it's a situation that you've got to eventually get past. So I think it's a valuable offer, Dave.
Awesome, Matt Kelly. Awesome. Thank you. Great insight there. Where do you want to take it now, Matt Kelly? I think we've covered a lot of... There's only really one more point I want to say on this.
Yeah, go on.
Is there anything else you've got on safe and quality problems?
I'll tell you what. For many of the samurai, they'll be dealing with high quality problems. I know that for a fact.
Yes.
If you're facing a high quality problem, like, I'm going to say it, grow a pair and make a call.
Rock on.
Just do it. Just move through it, right? If it's a high quality problem and you know that it's like one good thing or another good thing, and you can't choose both good things, either find a way or pick one. But do it, but don't let it be, don't let that be something you're still worrying about in a week's time. Just get it sorted.
Because here's a distinction. This is an additional distinction, Matt Kelly. This is extra bonus material right here.
Yep.
When you solve that problem of should I speak at Facebook or Google on the 25th of this month? Right. Once you solve that problem, you know what's going to happen? That problem's at this level. Then you jump up to this level, and there's another set of problems.
Totally.
there's another set of problems. Your problems never go away.
Yep.
Right? The next problem becomes, is it, well, which country am I going to speak in? Am I going to speak in Canada, US, or Australia?
Right.
And am I going to accept a $40,000 fee, a $50,000 fee, or a $60,000 fee?
Right.
Where am I going to be? Okay, so your problems never go away. You just keep stepping up with the problems.
Yeah, and you get better at dealing with them as you progress.
I love it.
What was your last point, Dave? You mentioned one more.
My last point was that facing up to a quality problem, it requires courage, Matt Kelly.
Yep.
Because you might not be good enough to solve that problem the first time.
Right. Okay.
You might not have the goods.
Right.
Imagine the first time that you played Mario Kart on Nintendo 64.
Yeah.
It's a bit old school, but...
You are going back a long way, but yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
Can I say Tetris on Game Boy?
There you go. I love it. That's better.
The first time you played that game, did you succeed?
Probably not.
Unless you're extremely talented at video games.
Right. Probably not, no.
Right? It's the same Thomas Edison. 999 ways not to make a light bulb, and then he found on the 1,000th attempt, he found the way to make it.
So it's actually being willing to make a mistake, knowing it will get you closer to the right move.
Yes. That's a quality problem, is facing up to your biggest fear being that you might not be good enough.
Yeah.
And if you're not good enough, you won't be loved.
Yeah.
So to all those people facing up to quality problems, Matt Kelly, kudos. Because it does require that you grow a pair, and it does require courage. And I think it's Matt Kelly and I saluting you guys who are facing up to those problems. Good on you.
Love it, dude.
All right, Matt Kelly. Quick tips.
Dude, quick tips. So,
you down?
Yeah, let's do quick tips. Do you want me to go first?
You go first.
All right, let's do it. All right, so I have a quick tip. Look, dude, the light's getting weird in here. It's getting dark.
How's my light?
Your light's amazing. Oh, you look perfect. You're beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
No, I'm getting this creep shadow thing, but it's cool. My nose is big. Here's my quick tip, Dave. And I actually called you about this very week, the past week. And we actually spoke a lot this week about some cool shit. First of all,
didn't we?
Dude, some crazy shit's happened this week.
Thank you for a great week, Matt Kelly.
And you. So here's a realization that I had very late this week. It's about business, it's about marketing, it's about social media, right? As many of us are business owners, or we market a product, or we promote a product, or we own a product, or wear a product, whatever it is, many people who watch this show run a business. And many of those businesses are online, right? Many of them are. Dave, remember back in about the early, probably the early 2000s, late 90s, the very first iterations of email marketing, right? So what companies would do is they would start building their lists as people made their random MSN, AOL email addresses, and they'd collect them and they would market to them. And guess what? Back then, email was new, it was unique, it was interesting, and you know what happened? They got 80% open rates.
Because everyone was like, oh, I got an email.
Oh, the clothes shop sent me an email. Yes. And then they were like, sweet, I'm going to buy their product because that's awesome. And they sent me an email. They actually sent me an email. People were excited, right? What's happened now? So now email rates have declined. They've plummeted. Average is under 10% open rates now. Click-throughs are 1%. Purchasing, next to nothing, right? Marketers ruined email because they spammed it out there. Now, Gary Vaynerchuk very famously says, marketers ruin everything, right? I wholeheartedly believe that today we are in the wild, wild west of social media. I believe in 10 years' time, I believe that we will turn around and be like, dude, I remember the days when I could attract a customer for between 4 and 8 cents each, because I can right now. And in 10 years' time, people will be like, no, that's not possible. You couldn't have done that, right? Email open rates couldn't have been 80%, right? That's impossible, right? Dude, golden age, wild, wild west. People need to start doing some shit to market their businesses. There's so much content out there already that you should be using. I'm putting so much content out there. You do as well. I want people to start creating more, experimenting more, doing more. I've talked about like off-brand Facebook pages. If you're not doing that and you do market a consumer product, you're insane. You should be out there generating as much content as you can, because I honestly believe it is the golden age. If you want to learn more about this, if you want to converse on these topics, because dude, this is my life. I live this.
It is.
You've got to get in the lounge. They just have to get in the lounge.
Absolutely. And Matt Kelly, you've even got a workshop that's in the process of happening.
Yeah.
Got shouted out in the lounge, and there's a whole heap of people from the lounge already coming.
Yeah.
By the way, we need to talk about that. I think I'm going to fly up for it,
dude.
I think I'm going to fly up for it.
It'll be in the next couple of weeks. I love it.
Because I just got a client in Brisbane, so we'll make it work.
Very good. I love it.
Yeah. Okay. But I love that, Matt Kelly, because it's true. The stats show in the next couple of years, we're going to get an extra 3 billion people connected to the internet.
Yep.
And then guess what? That will make the whole planet online.
Yep.
And then where's the exponential growth going to come from?
And do you know what's even crazy? I'll tell you what's even crazier. This is so epic. What's going to end up happening is, think about your Facebook feed right now. We all still use Facebook, right? And there's audiences leaving, but it's very small. In your Facebook news feed, you can go, there's an ad, there's an ad, there's an ad, there's an ad. What if Facebook are publicly listed now? This is a hypothesis of mine. I believe that Facebook will start to remove ad placements from their feed because it's damaging user experience. They don't have users, they've got nothing, right? But they have to make money. So what's going to happen? They're going to be charging to get an ad in that right-hand panel. Cost will go up exponentially because they're reducing the number of placements, right? So now I'm competing with Pepsi for one ad placement, not one of 4. And Pepsi can afford more money than Sally Arkansas, as Gary Vaynerchuk would say, right? And if Sally can't afford it, she can't market her shoes to her audience. And dude, game over. So I honestly believe right now is the time to capitalize. There will always be future platforms, but man, is it an opportunity.
It's hot right now, isn't it, Matt Kelly?
It's massive.
It is hot to trot.
And people don't see it. People don't believe this. People are still like, oh, social media, like, dude, we've been doing it for like almost 10 years now. Like, let's get with the program.
Totally, Matt Kelly. Totally. And guys, if there's anyone listening to this podcast who doesn't know, Matt Kelly is the co-founder of a digital agency in Brisbane. So if your business needs strategy work, and I think you got to be rolling it, you got to be doing a bit of cash to roll with you guys. You kind of roll with the big dudes, yeah?
A little bit, yeah.
So get hold of Matt Kelly, Just Media Design in Brisbane. So that's where you want to go.
That's Just Media. You know what, Dave? You gave a shout out for your email. I'll put mine out there just to see what happens. You hit me up at matt@justmediadesign.com.au if anyone wants to chat. Dude, I just like chatting. Let's just chat.
Awesome. Rock on, Matt Kelly.
Dave, hit me with a quick tip.
I got a quick tip. Viewers may have noticed how much gratuitous, ridiculous amounts of energy that I've given forth to the podcast today.
Yes.
And Matt Kelly, it's a secret weapon.
Yes. Okay.
I have a secret weapon and I'm about to reveal it to you all.
Dude, are you sure you want to do that? It sounds very secret.
I'm a giving type of guy, so I think I'm ready to do it. Matt Kelly.
Open your ear holes, people. Open your ear holes.
If you get on, there's a couple of superfoods.
Okay.
There's a couple of superfoods that will, when combined, will result in unbelievable amounts of energy.
Yep.
One is cacao.
Yes.
Raw cacao. It's the raw basis of chocolate. Not chocolate with sugar, raw cacao.
Right.
You put that in a smoothie with this, I think it's a Peruvian thing called maca.
Okay.
I think that's how you say it, M-A-C-A.
Okay.
It's like a nutty kind of caramelly flavor.
Right.
You put them together with banana, goji, chia, and cashews and avocado.
Yeah.
And you blend that up with ice and you have that twice a day. I promise you, you will be jumping out of your pants literally by the second, exactly like I am now. Changed my life, Matt Kelly.
Dude.
Changed my life.
Do you know what you have to do? You have to create a Dave Thompson package where you put all these things together and people can just get make a pack and then I can sign up for a monthly subscription and get it mailed to my door.
I was totally thinking that.
Dude, I want that.
Subscription to the energy pack.
Dude, I love that. Because I need that now.
Oh, man, it is phenomenal. In fact, you know what? Straight after this episode, I'm going to go and have one.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
Oh, bam, Matt Kelly, feel the power, man. And guess what? Next week, we're not going to be able to podcast on Saturday because I'm running 100 Ks, the North Face 100.
Right.
So we're going to have to do something else.
We will make other arrangements.
Indeed we will. Matt Kelly, is there anything else we need to say? I think that's a great wrap. We've talked about safe and quality problems and how you got to step up, deal with the quality problems, and really that's where you want to be playing if you want to do something great and change the world.
I think I'm all in. That sounds good to me.
All right, rock on. There's nothing else left to say except if you want a boring life, go sit in a cubicle. My name's Dave Thompson. That is Matt the freaking man Kelly, and we will catch you on the other side.
Peace out, everyone.